Hi everybody, this is Gordon calling from Melbourne. It's Labor Day where I live, and that means it's a great time to get around to all the things that you love and really want to do, but you never seem to have time for. And frankly, that's also why I haven't made this video until so late in the day. I mean, cut me some slack. First things first, yes, it's the middle of March down here, but most people have the Labor Day long weekend in early May. That's because, for most people, it's on the holiday proclaimed by the United Nations. But here in Australia, we had the idea before the UN even existed. I mean, we had the idea before Australia as a single entity existed, but I'll get to that later. Specifically, here in Melbourne, it's a public holiday today to celebrate the legalised 8-hour working day. We even built a monument to it. And that's it, right there. The 888 up there is meant to represent the intended ideal of 8 hours work, 8 for sleep, and other stuff as well. My question is, though, why is it even relevant? I mean, I'm unemployed as of last week, and before that I tended to work about 10 hours a day. Then there are lots of other people who are doing 12-hour shifts on casual contracts, and other people professionals who do lots of homework outside their standard working hours. The reasoning, of course, is steeped in history. At the time, it was the mid-19th century. Radicals in Britain had legislated that everyday people need to have one day off in a week from working, and that, of course, being Sunday. At the time, the workforce was effectively the property of the business owner, in keeping with British feudal system in industrial economy, no less. It's worth mentioning at this point, the ideology was of religiously inspired welfare politics. Those people who are concerned about everyday people's quality of life, as well as upholding the old traditional values. We call them wets. This victory for the wets, being the 8-hour working day, or the wets successfully legislating for, actual regulated working hours, was like a slap in the face for the dries, who are traditionally focused more on money, economic growth, and maintaining the status quo. Ugh, ugh, ugh. So, yeah, first effective regulation for working hours, working standards in the mid-19th century. The only other time off which people had before then was holidays. As it is written, thou shalt not work on holy days. This isn't a Bible, I don't even have one. The Catholic and Orthodox churches, of course, have great heaps of holidays, often feasting days for saints and angels and all that stuff. But of course, after the Reformation in Northern Europe, we got rid of celebrating saints and angels, so the number of holidays decreased dramatically. They still kept the major ones though, like Christmas and Easter. So now is a good time to say thanks to my buddy Jesus for letting us have like a whole week off work to celebrate his birthday.
Hey, no worries. Hey, no worries, bro. Have a good one.
Now, this, by the way, is why people from Australia and other British derived cultures talk about going on holiday, as opposed to the Americans who talk about going on vacation. So, there you go, the more you know. I suppose it's also why we talk about a weekend, because it was settled, it was official, it was the law. Except, of course, that's no longer strictly true, especially here in the big city. People are now working on every day of the week, and the Prime Minister of Australia himself observed just as much, back when he was still fresh from his rapping and mounting the argument that one day was much like another, so there shouldn't be a legislated demand to pay people extra for working on a particular day. And I can see where he's coming from. I mean, I used to be one of those people on casual contracts who only got work on Saturdays and Sundays. That is, I had a working week of maybe 3-4 days, and the man's expression has been interpreted as part of the dries asserting themselves and objecting to the idea of employers having to pay people extra money to work on holidays. So that brings me back to the question of what Labor Day is all about, and why now? Easter is only 2 weeks away, and the week after is daylight savings. Now, I would have thought that having a public holiday to remind people to turn their clocks forward or back in the days when we had to do it manually ourselves instead of the computers updating it all for us, that would have been pretty worthwhile. I would have thought that having a public holiday to remind people to wind their clocks forward or back would have been pretty useful back in the days when we had to actually manually wind them up ourselves instead of the computers updating it automatically. For that matter, since Melbourne is meant to have the largest population of Greeks outside of Greece itself, why don't we change the date to Orthodox Easter? As a fun fact, Orthodox Easter this year is on May 1. That is May Day. That is the same day as the United Nations Labor Day. Ooh. Mayday! Mayday! I can't leave the office, I'm working too hard, I can't sleep at night, stress! So I guess I've just answered my own question there about why Labor Day is still relevant. Kind of. It's easy for people like me to work too hard, work too long hours, and we still deserve some time to wake up late, recharge, and do some random lazy crap and not feel the pressure one day. Anyway, what do you think? If you've got some thoughts or suggestions, leave a comment below. If you'd like to see more informative and entertaining rants like these, hit subscribe and I'll try to make some more. That's it for now. Hope you enjoy the rest of your rest. Anyway, what do you think? If you've got some thoughts or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you'd like to see some more informative and entertaining rants like these, hit subscribe and I'll try to make some more. And that's all for now. Hope you enjoy the rest of your rest.